Good morning, children. So today we are going to start with the topic osmosis. This is not visible on. So let's start with osmosis. This is a mode of transportation. This is a so children, this is a type of transport across plasma membrane. And osmosis is considered to be a passive transport. Osmosis is considered to be a passive transport. So what is the special feature of passive transport? In the passive transport, as it is along the concentration gradient, so no ATP is utilized. When we say along the concentration gradient, that means from higher concentration to lower concentration. So as it is along the concentration gradient, that means from higher concentration to lower concentration, no ATP is utilized. No ATP is utilized because it is along the concentration gradient. This is what I have already told you about its features. We have already discussed yesterday about the passive transport. So it is a type of passive transport where no ATP is utilized because it is along the concentration gradient. That means always from the higher concentration to the lower concentration. Now, yesterday when I was discussing you osmosis, I made a diagram of a tumbler is divided. So these are the two compartments in which rather this is a semi-permeable membrane. Okay, this is divided into two. Now, I told you that these two compartments into which this is divided into, we can name it A and we can name it B. Now, in these two compartments which are filled with water, I told you that here we have suppose 2000 water molecules. And in the other one also suppose we have 2000 water molecules. Now what do? We increase the we add some solute to it. Water is a solvent. So now we add some solute to it. Suppose we add to it 100, say 100 salt molecules. And to this also, say we add little more than this, say suppose 200 salt molecules or sugar molecules, anything you can add. So this is what we add to it. Okay. See this 200 gets combined with 100. So the number of free water molecules left will be 1900. 1900 H2O, free H2O molecules will be left. Free water molecules will be left. And here in this case, because 200 salt molecules we have added, that means out of the 2200 water molecules are engaged with the salt molecules, or they are combined with it. So these are here the free water molecules left will be 1800 free water molecules are left. Now, the number of free water molecules is more in A as compared to B. When we see the number of free water molecules in both the chambers, in both the compartments A and B, we find that the number of water molecules, the free water molecules are 1900 in chamber A, and these are 1800 in chamber B. That means both have more and less number of free water molecules. And the number of free water molecules are more in chamber A. It is 1900. And the number of free water molecules are less than A in B. So it is less than this. This is more and this is less. Now, the number of free water molecules, as the number of free water molecules in chamber A are more, this solution can be considered as a dilute solution. So this solution A is considered as a dilute solution. So A becomes a dilute solution. More solvent, solute molecules, or more free solvent, or we can also say more free solvent molecules, or in this case water molecules. So this becomes a dilute one. And when we let's not write this, let's talk in terms of solvent only. So let's not write this. And for B we can write, see, the number of free water molecules are less than A, so this becomes a concentrated solution. And here less as compared to B, we are comparing it with B, so less solvent molecules and more as compared to this, less as compared to A. As compared to A, we have less free water molecules. As compared to A, we have less free water molecules. So this, because of the presence of more and less free water molecules or free solvent molecules, we name them dilute solution or concentrated solution. This can be termed this can be named in the term of tonicity also. So there is another term I'm using here, tonicity. So when we name it in the terms of tonicity, the dilute solution can be named as hypotonic. We also call it hypotonic solution, and the concentrated solution can be named as hypertonic. So hypotonic is the solution where the concentration of, or where the number of the free solvent molecules is more. Okay, and a hypertonic solution is the solution where the number of free solvent molecules or free water molecules is less. So like if I give you another example to describe what is hypertonic and hypotonic. I give you another example. So that is we have two tumblers, one tumbler A, another tumbler B. We have two tumblers A and B. In both the tumblers, we have taken equal amount of water. Say 200 ml of water we have taken here, and here also 200 ml of water. So the amount of water taken is 200 ml H2. So water same amount is taken in both the tumblers. Now, if we add a solute to it, say sugar solution, and here we add plus 4 spoons of sugar. And in tumbler B, this is A, and in tumbler B, we add just 1 spoon of sugar. So out of the two solution, the one which has 4 spoons of sugar in 200 ml of water, and the one which has 1 spoon of sugar in 200 ml of water. See, the water content is more in both, but there the amount of solute added in A is more. It is 4 spoons, whereas the amount of solute added in B is less comparatively, just 1 spoon. So on the basis of this, if we take out of the two tumblers, we will say that a tumbler is having concentrated solution and the B tumbler is having dilute solution. We can say this, and on the basis of tonicity, we will say that this solution is hypertonic. This solution is hypertonic and this solution is hypotonic. So on the basis of tonicity also we can say that one is hypertonic, one is hypotonic. So this is the difference between hypertonic and hypotonic. Why I am telling you this? Because it has got a lot of work to do when I'll describe what is osmosis. Now let's write the definition of osmosis. How we will define osmosis? What is osmosis? So let's define that. Osmosis. It can be considered as a process, and I told you that in case of osmosis, we define osmosis in the terms of solvent, not solute. We define osmosis in the terms of solvent. So movement of solvent, or we can say water. Water is maximum time, water is the solvent. Okay. Of course, other substances can also act as solvent, but maximum time it is water which acts as the solvent. So movement of solvent particles from there always, before also when I taught you in class 9 this process, at that time also I told you that when you define osmosis, you have to be very particular of writing this there or its movement of solvent particles from their higher concentration to their lower concentration through a semi permeable membrane now we have to be very careful here. This is not a complete definition. This is not a complete definition because till now I'm just talking about the movement, but I haven't put a limit to that, up to what extent this movement of particles will take place, up to what time, up to what limit the movement of particles from higher concentration to lower concentration will take place. So movement of solvent particles or water particles from their higher concentration to their lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane till, you can write two sentences, till a uniformity in their distribution is achieved, or you can also write down till equilibrium is reached, till it reaches the equilibrium, till it reaches the equilibrium. Now here, what here is being talked about. Here again, I'll make a tumbler. Now this time, of course, it is divided into two chambers, but this time we have a semi-permeable membrane in between. A semi-permeable membrane. This is a semi-permeable membrane through which the movement of particles can take place. This is a semi-permeable membrane. Through which the movement of particle can take place. So this is a semi-permeable membrane, and this semi-permeable membrane divides this tumbler into two compartments, say A and B. Now what happens? Suppose we have filled both the tumblers with water, and the water molecules in both the tumblers. Suppose here these are 1000 units water molecules. Okay, 1000 unit H2O molecules, and here again 1000 units H2O molecules we have. Okay, now in this we have the solvent, and the solvent is say 500 units solvent. Any solvent, not solvent, solute. Any solute you can take, sugar or any, and here we have just 100 unit solvent, not solvent, solute. So the solute in the first case it's 500 unit, and in the second case it is just 100 unit. Now on the basis of these points which are given, can you tell me from which chamber to which chamber there will be movement? Will it be from here to here, or will it be from here to here? The movement of the water molecules will be from chamber A to chamber B through the semi-permeable membrane, or it will be from B to chamber A through semi-permeable membrane. Yes, who's going to tell me this? Yes, beta. I'm waiting for your response. Into which direction there will be movement of solvent particles from A to B? Tadarani is saying that's right, because here, see, this is more, this is concentrated solution, and this is a dilute solution. Water is more. Now here, now tell me, water molecules from where to, it is the movement of water molecules. Yes, osmosis is the movement of water molecules. This solution which is in A is concentrated solution, and the solution which is in B is a dilute solution. Yes. Osmosis is in terms of water molecule. Yes, beta. Osmosis is in terms of movement of solvent particles not the solute particles. Solvent particles have to move. Yes, from where to where? Water molecules from where will move to where? Where the concentration of water molecules is more. Where the water molecules are more. Now Tadarani has changed her answer. She's saying B to A. Now how many of you are saying A to B and how many of you are saying B to A? Yes. Yes, I'm waiting for your reply. Will it be from B to A or it will be from A to B? Yes, beta, I'm waiting for your response. Yes, bache? From, yes, but both have same amount of water. Water is same, but just now, before I described you this, I told you something about free water molecules also. This term also I gave you, free water molecules, which is responsible for this movement. Free water molecules also. Now Rohan is saying from B to A. Yes, it will be from B to A because it is a hypotonic solution. This solution is a hypotonic solution and this solution is a hypertonic solution. So the free water molecules are more in B compartment. Free water molecules are more here and they are less here. So where the water molecules, free water molecules are more, they will move towards the area where the free water molecules are less. That means the movement of water will be from here to here. Now, up to what time will it keep moving? Suppose say, up to what time? Till the concentration of both the compartments is equal. Till the concentration of both A and B becomes equal. The water will keep on moving till, suppose we define the concentration, yes, till equilibrium is achieved. Yes, it will keep on moving till the concentration of compartment A and compartment B becomes equal. It will keep on moving till the concentration of both the compartments becomes equal. And when it is achieved, then this movement will stop. So beta, this is the process of osmosis which takes place, and it keeps it continues till the concentration, till some equilibrium is achieved, till the concentration in both the compartments become equal. Okay, it will keep on taking place, it will continue, and once the concentration of both the compartments is equal, it will stop. Okay, so after that there won't be any movement of solvent from one chamber to another chamber. At that time it will stop once the concentration is of in both the chambers is same. So once the concentration in both the chambers is same, this movement of molecules, the solvent molecules, will stop. Okay, now here this osmosis, this takes place in the presence of living cells also. What happens when a cell is kept in a hypotonic solution or in a hypertonic solution? Okay, now here I'll show it, the osmosis in case of plant cells and animal cells. So let's take animal cell first. Animal cell. What happens when this animal cell, see, animal cell also has some, fluid content in it. This animal cell also has some fluid content in it. Some fluid content is present in this animal cell also. It also has some sort of concentration of the fluid which is present in the cell. So this animal cell also has some concentration. Fine. See, every cell has a certain type of fluid which is present in it, whether it is a plant cell or an animal cell. They have certain type of fluid which present in the, that can be concentrated or that can be dilute. Now it depends that how the cell will react when we put it in a hypotonic solution or when we put it in a hypertonic solution. Now we have taken this cell. Now this animal cell is taken in a container. This is a container into which we have taken the animal cell, which has got a certain fluid in it, and that fluid also has some concentration. When this animal cell, it is kept in a solution, suppose this is a solution into which animal cell is kept, and the concentration of this solution, into which animal cell is kept, suppose let's say this is hypotonic. Now when we say hypotonic, I'm going to compare it with hypotonic to what? Hypotonic to which particular solution? Hypotonic to which particular fluid? So this whatever is present in this tumbler, this is hypotonic to the fluid which is present inside the cell. See the animal cell, this is an animal cell. This is an animal cell, and this animal cell also has a certain type of fluid in it, and that fluid is hypertonic. That means the fluid which is present inside the cell, its concentration is more than the concentration of the substance of the fluid which is present in the tumbler. So the concentration of this is more than this. The concentration of the fluid, of the liquid, of the solution which is present in the tumbler is less, and this is more. In other words, we can say this is concentrated or this is dilute. Understood here? This diagram is clear? Is it clear, beta, what I want to tell you? Is it clear? Okay. So now what happens? Because, okay, I'm getting your response. Yes. Now what happens? Now, see, in nature, everything wants to achieve equilibrium, equilibrium to everything wants to attain homeostasis. There is a term homeostasis, that means equilibrium, a state of equilibrium. In nature, everything wants to attain equilibrium. So this process starts here also. Here also some movement of solvent molecules starts, and this process is osmosis. So the process of osmosis starts to attain equilibrium in the concentration. So what will happen? From outside, the solvent molecules will move inside the animal cells, or from inside, the solvent molecules will move outside the cell. From inside to outside, or from outside to inside. Yes. Answer my question. Yes. Water molecules from where? From outside to inside the cell, or from inside to outside the cell. Okay, Tadar is saying inside to outside. Rohan is saying outside to inside. Yes, yes. See, when I'm saying that this solution is hypotonic, that means the solution into which this animal cell is kept, this is hypotonic, that means it is dilute. And by dilute, what do we mean? More water molecules, more free water molecules. By this, we mean more free water molecules. The more of the free water molecules which can move from one place to another. So more free water molecules we have in this. And here inside the cell, this is concentrated. So because which is concentrated, that means most of the water molecules are associated with the solute. So very few water molecules are left. So less free water molecules. Free water molecules in this case are less. Now what happens? Where the water molecules are more, they will start moving to the area where the water molecules are less. This is very, general thing. Like the person, suppose this is what I told you, that if your younger brother doesn't have pens and you have pens, of course you will give him, because you have pens, then only you will give him. Okay, so same way here, the water molecules are more, then only they will be able to transfer their water molecules to an area where the water molecules are less. This is very general thing, just a matter of common sense. So what will happen? Water molecules from outside will start moving towards inside. Water molecules from outside will start moving towards inside the cell, inside the animal cell. Because outside the solution is hypotonic, and hypotonic solution has more of the free water molecule. Inside the cell is hypertonic. Hypertonic has less free water molecules. So from outside, the free water molecules, which are more in number, will start moving towards inside the cell where the free water molecules are less. And now what will happen? There will be the change. There will be a change in the structure of animal cell, which will be seen. And what will be that change? Because of excessive accumulation of water, this animal cell, it will swell up. It will swell up. That means its size will enlarge. There will be enlargement in its size or swelling up of the cell. So this is what's going to happen when an animal cell is, it is kept in hypotonic solution. Now, another case in which we take this animal cell, and this animal cell is now kept in a solution. This solution is, this is animal cell, which also have some sort of fluid in it. Intracellular fluid, that is known as intracellular fluid. So now this animal cell, suppose the solution which we have added to this, the solute which we have added to this, the solution which is outside the animal cell, we have made it in such a way excuse me, that its concentration is more than this. That its concentration becomes more than this. That means we have added a good amount of solute into this solution to make it hypertonic to this solution, to this intracellular fluid. So here we have made this solution hypertonic. That means it is concentrated, and when it is concentrated, less free water molecules are there. And this solution, which is inside intracellular fluid of animal cell, this solution, because this is, when this is hypertonic, obviously this will have less concentration, because we have made this hypertonic, in comparison to this fluid. So this is hypertonic. That means this is dilute. That means less, no, dilute has more free water molecules. More free water molecules. Now, in this case, how the osmosis will take place? In this case, the free water molecules are more inside the cell. So what will happen? The water molecules from inside will start moving outside. So water molecules will start moving outside. And because this is an animal cell does not have a, yes, Rohan, you are right. Animal cell does not have a cell wall. So what will happen? Just plasma membrane is present. The cell will shrink. There will be shrinking of the cell will shrink. There will be shrinking of the cell. And as a result, its size will reduce or decrease. So this is what happens when an animal cell is kept in a hypotonic solution or in a hypertonic solution. Now, I'll tell you another what happens when a plant cell is kept in different